The siren is ringing, so you know what time it is. It's the 12 o'clock show with Mayor Joe. We have a big show today. We've got a couple of good guests, and we're going to start it off with Chuck from the Reynoldsburg Community Association, a great partner with the city on a lot of events, not just Halloween. There are other things that are good. But you're here because we got a lot of fun things to talk about. This is kind of the beginning of your entire year's season. So why don't you just tell us a little bit about the Community Association to start?
So the Community Association is an all-volunteer organization made up of folks from the Reynoldsburg community who are invested in, and interested in giving back to the city of Reynoldsburg. So we put on community events. We're responsible for the 4th of July parade, the community Halloween party that you just mentioned, the Christmas on the Town event. We're also excited this year that we've developed a new partnership with our schools. And so for the first time this year, we have a scholarship that we're giving to a deserving senior from Reynoldsburg who, embodies our mission of service and leadership. And so we're excited about that opportunity to help a young person from our schools, pursue higher education.
That's pretty cool. There are always a lot of things about that, and because you said you're a volunteer organization, you probably have too many volunteers, right? You have to tell people to go away, or is it something a little different than that?
I wish that was the case. We're always looking for volunteers, volunteers to work specific events, but also people who are passionate about, serving in terms of being those planner organizers and, helping us chair events like the Halloween party or the 4th of July parade or the Christmas on the Town event. So we're looking for those individuals as well that enjoy that opportunity.
Yeah, and if they come in and they want to volunteer, they don't have to do everything. They can say, hey, I'd like to be on the spaghetti committee, or I want to do the Halloween. So they can kind of pick and choose. And then once you get them in your grasp, then they become part of like the mob. Then they have to do everything eventually, but not at first.
That's right. Ease them in.
So if they want to be a volunteer, what's the best way? Can they reach out to you? Can they just email? What's the best way?
So they can reach out to me. My cell phone is 614-580-7218, and contact me. Or our meetings, we meet monthly. Currently, we were meeting at Messiah Lutheran Church, but with the construction going on Wagner Road, we've moved. We're now at the Heartland Bank, at the back of Heartland Bank in the Reynoldsburg Visitors Bureau offices. And so that's at 6:30, the second Thursday of the month.
Okay. And you get bonus points for ringing up Wagner Road. So. Now, my personal favorite holiday, obviously, as we all know, is Halloween. However, to get everybody in a position for Halloween, you got to do something to kind of drum up some financial support, because it's not, it's not the easiest thing in the world. But you guys have come up with a really cool thing to do that, where it's, yes, you're paying for something, but at the same time, everybody gets to eat.
Right.
And so that's a good thing. So tell us about the annual spaghetti dinner.
So our annual spaghetti dinner this year will be held on Saturday, March the 29th, between the hours of 5 to 8 at Messiah Lutheran Church, which is 1200 Wagner Road, in the Fellowship Hall. And so tickets are available either pre-sale by calling the number I shared earlier, or you can purchase tickets at the door. Tickets are $10 for adults between the children ages 5 to 12. The tickets are $5, and then under 5, it's free. And so that meal includes spaghetti and meatballs and rolls and salad and dessert. And certainly, just a quick shout out while we're talking about the spaghetti dinner to our partners that help us put this on. So Texas Roadhouse is a partner in this event. Brewster's Ice Cream is a partner in this event. And Vic's Pizza is a partner in this event. So shout out to those 3 organizations for their support in helping us, hold the spaghetti dinner and supporting that event.
Well, I know I've been going for a number of years. It's always good. It's always good to come and sit down and honestly just to sit and talk with community members. Strangely enough, I get a lot of different questions when I come to this event. I'm talking about things that have nothing to do with spaghetti, but it's good because that's kind of that community feel. It's hard in a city of our size and in today's age when everybody can, connect on their phone and to actually sit down and have conversations with other live humans about whatever's going on. So I appreciate it. I obviously appreciate the support of the Community Association with everything we do. I know we've got the big thing is going to be the 4th of July parade this year, as always, which is fun, in preparation for next year's even bigger, better 4th of July parade for the America 250. But I'm looking forward to it, and as always, thank you for being here. Everybody, come out to the spaghetti dinner. It's going to be a real good thing.
Thank you.
All right, thanks a lot. I appreciate it. All right, and our next guest, see, this is where we have to go to commercial breaks and then we'll come back with somebody else. Our next guest is actually from another organization in Reynoldsburg, the Lions Club. So, Dave, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Pleasure
to be here with you. Thank you.
So, the Lions Club's a little bit different. It is still a volunteer organization, and there's a lot of things that you guys do on a regular basis.
Correct.
I know that there are anything from, we've done school drives, we've done other events and things like that. So, why don't you tell us a little bit about the Lions Club and what's going on?
Of course. First of all, the Reynoldsburg Lions Club was chartered on January 29th, 1948. The interesting part about the Reynoldsburg Lions Club, and when it originally was started, maybe your listeners would be interested in hearing this, that the Reynoldsburg Lions Club in 1948 was chartered under the Lions Clubs International charter. But in 1950, Lex Myers and a gentleman named Robert Half developed an association with the Reynoldsburg Lions Club and introduced wrestling into Central Ohio. The Reynoldsburg Lions Club became a fixture in that endeavor, and even today it's remembered as the founding organization of wrestling in Central Ohio, and perhaps in the world. Lions Clubs International was founded in 1917 by a businessman by the name of Melvin Jones. The interesting part about that was the purpose of his organizing this association at that time was to develop a relationship between business persons in the Chicago area. It developed and grew. It was in 1925 that Helen Keller came to the first International Association of Lions Clubs convention in Cedar Point, and she charged the lions of the world become Knights of the Blind. And at that point, it became more associated with blindness and eye disorders. So that's summary what we're about. The largest organization, civic organization in the world, 1.7 million members, with 200 geographical areas throughout the world, to include in this country 197,000 clubs in North America and the U.S. alone. We have a purpose. The purpose is to serve. We focus mainly in our communities, and that's developed more and more. And of course, you just had a gentleman here from the Community Association. We've developed a relationship with them and the city. And of course, it's important that relationship continue. I will add one more thing, Mayor, that it's kind of an abstract situation. You have to be invited to become a member of the Reynoldsburg Lions Club. It's strictly by invitation, which is kind of unusual, knowing today it's hard to get enough volunteers to do anything. But you're invited, and once you're invited, you're approved by the membership, and at that point you go forward. All right. So that's a summary of our organization.
All right. So I know you've got a lot of different things coming up. I know that there's a silent auction in the not too distant future, amongst some other things. So why don't you tell everybody about that?
I'll be more happy to. On May 1st, this became an annual affair where it started back 3 years ago. And the purpose of this particular fundraising event was to articulate monies for philanthropic purposes. That developed into a monster now. We have it this year on May 1st at the Summit Station Lions Building on Summit Road, 7600 Summit Road. The funds that we articulate from this particular auction are used mainly to distribute to needy causes. The major cause that we support is the Lions Clubs International Foundation, to include Pilot Dogs, the Diabetes Association, and now our focus now is in pediatric cancer. Pediatric cancer is becoming rampant, as you all may know. And Lions throughout the world have come to the point where they believe very strongly that should be our charge. There's a disease called river blindness. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that. River blindness affected many young children, and for that matter, people in the African part and the southeastern part of the world. The Lions Clubs came together and formed a separate foundation. They got the funding together, opened up hospitals, eventually found a cure for that disease. So that's very important. And lastly, the auction that we use and function ourselves with every year, it's a major fundraising event for us. The monies also we give back to the community. We have an annual project called Cure for the Cold. And we believe very strongly that people in the Reynoldsburg and the East Side community that can't afford coats, can't afford daily needs, we help them. So I encourage everybody to come May 1st at the Summit Station Lions building, on Summit Road.
And all of that's on social media as well.
Yes,
so
sir.
That's good.
Thank you.
Any other cool things coming up?
Yes, one more thing. The Reynoldsburg Alliance have made a very conscious decision that it's important that we not only be involved in the community, we become an extension to the community. And we've always been that, although, as you may know, it's more and more difficult to get volunteers and people to help. But we've decided that now it's at the point where we need to be an extension. We've joined the Chamber of Commerce. Mm-hmm. And joining the Chamber of Commerce will probably give us an armature and let people and businesses and Reynoldsburg community people know that we're there if they need us.
I appreciate it. Thank you for your good work all the way across.
Thank you, Mayor.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Seriously, if you have extra time, no matter how little, which we all know there's an abundance of out there, you just heard from two really good organizations that have an opportunity to make a difference in everybody's lives. Whether it's with the Lions Club, with some of their goals and objectives, or the Community Association. So I highly encourage you to reach out and participate in those things. While we're on it, we're always going to talk about our school districts. So I've got a couple of things going on there. Obviously, the next best of luck to the boys bowling team as they roll in for state championships this weekend. We also know the Reynoldsburg Raider basketball team is playing, the boys team is playing on Thursday night. Perhaps you've seen something about that in the news. We'll see. All I'm going to say about this is this. I didn't go to the game, but I did talk to a few different people who had been there and all of that. I know that this has never happened to any of us when we were 15 years old, that sometimes we make mistakes. None of us ever did that when we were 15. It just happened to be that this young man made a mistake that he's admitted to at a moment in time when everybody was watching, and then it became this whole other thing. I've not met the kid, but I know people who know him, and there are a lot of mean things being said about him and about the Reynoldsburg boys team in general right now, and I'd like to sit there and say that they're not true, that some people are just jumping on to go with outdated and emotional stereotypes that don't apply. I can tell you that this kid probably feels worse than anybody, well, maybe the other guy, but it feels really bad just in general all the way across. So regardless of what happens moving forward, he's learned his lesson. I doubt that this will ever happen again for him. But again, we just want to make sure that we support our Raiders regardless of which, and make that next step for them to get to the next round of the playoffs. With that, we have Neil Whitman is having his office hours every Friday from 3 to 4. I believe Board President Angela Abram has some office hours, but I saw it just before we came on the show, and I don't remember when it is. So hopefully somebody in the chat can add that in, but if you have questions about that. Now for some of the fun things, we have Reynoldsburg Education Foundation Purse Bingo. And yes, it's exactly what it sounds like. Tickets are $40 and you're going to get your 10 bingo cards. They're going to roll through the bingo cards, but you're probably not going to pay attention to that because you're going to have brunch and mimosas. Two, I don't know if you can pay for more of them, but 2 are included with that. But somebody's going to win as somebody yells bingo. All sorts of different things are out there. And again, these are high-level purses, which I'm sure we will hear more about next week, but I'll talk about that in a minute. Also wanted to talk about our Reynoldsburg Police Department. They've been doing these speed blitzes over the last couple of months. That doesn't mean that they don't enforce traffic at other times. It just means that at these particular times, they are definitely focusing a large unit out there to kind of go through it. And if you saw some of the speeds that are going out there, speeds that are in the mid to high 40s in residential areas and other areas even further, And just to kind of give you an idea, I know when we had our clerk of courts on, Leslie Clark, she had talked a little bit about, the cost factor. This is not a money-making scheme from the city. We don't get anything out of the tickets. This is administrative costs. There's a penalty phase and all of this other stuff. But it's not like for every ticket we're making huge amounts of money. If anything, it's more of a loss of anything. However, it is an incredibly important thing for our community to at least have an understanding that we're trying to get out there and be able to enforce those laws, including making some changes to our own legislation as introduced at the last council meeting. We are going to be increasing the fines from $120 to $200 for anyone caught going 15 miles an hour or more above the posted speed limit, including in the residential areas, which if you look at the data that was brought just from this last traffic blitz, there might be a few people that would be paying a little bit more money on it. So that's in there, and I did talk to a number of officers. Specifically, this happened on Main Street. There were probably 5 or 6 cars that went back to back to back that were running down the center lane on Main Street. So for those people that think that that is an actual other lane, they learned quite expensively that it is not during the last traffic blitz. With that, we've got some cool things going on, specifically with Wagner Road. Yeah, we were hoping the bridge was going to open today. It's not. We all know that. It is scheduled to open on Friday. Fingers crossed. If you're making plans for travel, I would probably say that anything before 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning, you're probably not going to be able to get access to Wagner Road. Probably sometime after that you will. And then that will be open until the first part of the work, which will commence the following Monday, which is some culvert replacement right by Priestley. So that area will be blocked off. You'll be able to travel north and southbound from Main Street to that location, and you'll be able to travel north and southbound from Broad Street to that location. You just won't be able to cross there. That work will take about 5 to 10 days. I know what they're telling me. I'm adding time onto it just in case. Once that culvert is taken care of, then it's going to move to the next culvert, which is our next picture, which is right by St. Pius. And that is going to be right on the other side of St. Pius. Again, the same thing. North and southbound access is going to be allowed, but you're not going to be able to cross all the way. Once that is done, which, again, given the timing and everything else, it should be done by, all of this should be done by the end of this month. The next step is you'll have northbound traffic from Main Street all the way to Broad Street, and we will close down southbound access just past Amelia. So we'll lock it at that point in time. So people will have access to the MI neighborhood and those houses living off Amelia, but you will not be able to go any further than that until phase 1 is done, which is on track and on schedule to go ahead and get completed by the end of this year. Probably most of the road work is going to be done by August, September. Then they'll do some paving and they'll work on some stuff on the sides. But the project is going to be moving much faster visually once we get these culvert things taken care of by the end of this month. So if you have any questions about Wagner Road, feel free and send them to me, but it is on its way and working. Beyond that, we have our parks program, some cool things coming up. We've got our community cleanup day on April 26th from 9 to 12, and this will include hazardous materials removal. So if you've got your hazardous materials, and we'll have a list of what is actually hazardous and what is not, we will bring that in there. So check it out on our social media page, but that will be there along with all your old favorites, collecting flags so they can be properly disposed of, bike collection, pill medication disposal, as well as electronics, bulk trash, things of that nature will all be there. So we're looking forward to that one. Not as much as we're looking forward to the Princess Party, which is on March 15th. It's always a good time. It's going to be at the Reynoldsburg Police Department. Lots of crafts, songs, and everything else, all probably Disney Princess, but it'll probably be something called other than Disney Princess because of copyright laws, but you get my drift on that one. We have our Easter Bunny breakfast on Saturday, April 12th from 9 to 11 at the Senior Center. Eggs, sausage, pancakes, fruit crafts, and games will be there as well. And I believe the appearance of the bunny himself will be there on that day as well. So if you want to go to that one, check it out on our page. We have another event, Civic Park Volunteer Cleanup at Franklin County Soil and Water. That's going to be Saturday, April 5th from 10 to 12. This is where you go in and they will point to you, see that green stuff, take that out because it's bad. I don't know what it is. I've heard honeysuckle is the only thing that sticks in my head. So they will point to it. We will take that out and help with some of the restoration in that area. And we also have, let's see, we've got our Arbor Day coloring book contest. So if you are a second grader in Reynoldsburg, you will have an opportunity to make this all beautiful. And if you do so and it gets selected as the winner, you will get some cool prizes and recognition as we celebrate Arbor Day later on this month. Deadline for that is going to be April 3rd, and then it'll probably be about 2 weeks after that we do some fun things with it. If you're interested, check it out on the website and all of that. You can get it there, or you can come by City Hall and pick them up as well. We also have an open house nature program today from 6 to 7:30 at the Senior Center. So if you want to get a little bit closer to nature today, perfect time to do it at the Senior Center. Pickleball. We are getting a new pickleball court. Legislation is going to go to council on Monday, so that's going to be awesome. If you want some introductory courses, they are going to start April 28th through May 19th. They're going to have 2 different sessions from 1 to 3 p.m., or you can take the Wednesday evenings from April 30th to May 21st from 6 to 8. And then they will switch over to league play April 22nd through May 27th. But again, please register for the right skill level. You don't want to go in and register if you've never played before. Don't pick the top level because you will regret it. And for those of you that are very good pickleball players, please don't pick the beginner stage, because everyone will know pretty fast that you're not the beginners. Any questions or anything coming on so far?
We do have 2 questions.
Cool.
Where will the amphitheater splash pad be? They couldn't hear it during the State of the City
No,
address.
that's fine. That's actually going to be at the location by what it used to be known as the Moyer Automotive thing, which is right next to the Reynoldsburg Animal Hospital. It's the vacant lot across from Memorial Plaza. So that's where that particular project will go.
And then, do you know what is going on at the property next to the church on Lancaster Avenue where they're cutting down the pine trees?
Yep, that actually is on my agenda, so I'll go ahead and skip to that one. So about 4 years ago, that property was sold by the church to a developer, tried to get some townhomes and multifamily apartments living there, and for whatever reason was not able to do it. Ultimately, the project kind of went into a different direction, and he ended up selling off his property to another developer, which is Trivium Development, but it's not the same one that we're familiar with that did the former Happy Dragon location. It's a different developer. They went through planning and zoning in May of last year to go ahead and get authorization to build there. It was approved by planning and zoning, and then a lot of time obviously has passed since May of last year. What they are doing now is they are taking the trees down, because if you want to take trees down in Ohio, 2 things have to happen. One, you have to have a tree survey, which they have accomplished, because any trees you take down, you have to put back. But the other one is because of something called Indiana bat. So the Indiana bat can be a potential endangered species, and you can only take the trees down outside of the season of their habitat, which is from April 1st until November 1st. So that's why the trees are being taken down now, in anticipation that all of the engineering has been signed off on. To be honest with you, hasn't been signed off on yet. So they could be taking these trees down and nothing's going to happen after that, because they were never able to solve, the original developer was never able to satisfy the city's requirements for what is called stormwater, because we know that flooding is in that general area and adding additional housing into it can impact that. So they have to prove by mathematical numbers that I cannot even get into about that if they do this, they have to have retention pond space, they have to be able to have the stormwater sizing perfect to make sure that the water does not add to or make flooding issues worse. That's the reason why the other development never happened. They got really close and they wanted us to go ahead and approve it because it was really close, but it didn't meet our requirements, so we did not approve it. And if they don't approve it this time, we're still not going to accept it. So I've reached out to see where they're at. They're in that engineering review process. So maybe this does fit all the things that they need to do, or maybe not, but we'll definitely keep you informed as we kind of go forward for that. There were a couple of comments about this, that we were trying to sneak this by or something like that. The city does not have the ability to deny anything that's being built outside of a general framework of what's in our zoning code. We do not encourage or discourage anybody from coming into the city. If there are things out there that meet the code, they can do so. The only places where we have control of it is when we purchase property. So the Happy Dragon site was one that now is the Brewster's and Finance option, and there'll be another restaurant in there as well. The site across from City Hall, which is the former PNC site, which will be the housing project with the restaurant and retail on the bottom, or the previously mentioned Moyer site with the splash pad and park area, or the larger area, which is Central Ohio Primary Care, and where will be the youth athletic field. So those are things that the city has purchased to kind of put into, have a say in what goes where. I will be honest with you, when the project did not make it through the first time around a couple years ago, when they were running into their struggles, I offered to repurchase that land at what they paid for it, plus a percentage for the trouble of it. It was denied, but I did try to, and at that point in time, we were looking to put it in park space. Ultimately, the land sold for, I want to say, about $1.3 million, something along those lines, which is something the city could not compete with at that point in time. But we did at least make the effort at that point. So that's what's going on in that particular area. Again, not trying to sneak anything by. It was something that, because it has been going on for so long, it just kind of fell out of everybody's memory. Was there another question after that?
No, we were just updating Angela Abrams' office hours, and we did that in the comments.
Okay.
It's from 6 to 7 tonight at the Welcome Center.
Then there you go. Now you know what you can do tonight from 6 to 7 p.m. So other than that, we have co-rec softball on Tuesday nights at Civic Park. So go ahead and check that out. So everybody can kind of get their gym class hero sports on and go out there and have some fun with that in the adult softball leagues. Bryce Park work is underway. Allegedly, I was out there the other day. They are getting ready to get back to work, so they have all of their clearances, all of their approvals, all of the lawyers have agreed upon until something happens later on that the lawyers don't like, but that's being moving forward. We're hoping we'll have a grand opening sometime in the next couple of months. Speaking of cool things of grand opening, if you're tired of your own job and you want to start your own business, come on out to the Reynoldsburg and Chamber of Commerce event for a job fair and BYOB, Build Your Own Business program. We're going to have a number of people there looking for jobs at various levels. I know there'll be some kind of entry-level positions, but also some other positions after that. So this isn't just for high school kids or things. This is for everybody. So check that out on our website. It's going to be on the 13th of next week from 6 to 7:30 at the Reynoldsburg Community Church. We'll also have people on hand that if you want to start your own business, there'll be some lending institutions there, insurance institutions, as well as our development and planners, so they can kind of walk you through what it looks like to be your boss. Because believe it or not, it's not as simple as just, I want to buy this place and open it up. There's much more difficult things than that. We also are going to be kicking off next week with, now the council has approved it, the Minority, Female, and Veteran Business Grant. So this is a reimbursable grant that will go live next Monday, March 10th. So you'll see it all out there. Basically, we're going to open it up to everybody that falls into the minority, female, or veteran business grant community. We did this a couple of years ago, but now this is coming straight from the city of Reynoldsburg as opposed to just some additional federal funds. But it can help with some of our small businesses and support them as they continue to grow and mature all the way throughout. So those are some pretty cool things out there. Raider Nutrition, one of our first businesses that opened about 5 years ago, is getting ready to celebrate their 5th anniversary, and that's Saturday, March 15th from 9 to 2. That's located right on Main Street, right next to the former McDonald's restaurant. It's going to be there. They're going to have a celebration, raffles, prizes, and obviously they're going to have their drinks there. We had an energy tea earlier in the office and a protein shake, so I've got plenty of energy for the rest of the day, so that was always fun. We also have a new restaurant that is opening. It's actually already open, but we're doing the official grand opening on Tuesday, March 11th. Cafe Margarita. We'll have the times out there. Las Margaritas. See, that's what happens when I don't read my notes. Las Margaritas, which is, again, just more margaritas. On Tuesday the 11th, we'll get the times out there, but that's a new restaurant in the 256 corridor. If you're looking for where it's at, it's where the old substation for RPD used to be that's now at Jersey Mike's, which we're waiting to have their grand opening. And then right next door to that is going to be this now Las Margaritas, right? Mm-hmm. There we go. So hopefully you can come out and join that. That's another restaurant into the area, which is good. Other events that are coming up, we're still looking for events for our community season. So I know we have Artist and Makers Market. I think we have, did you say 34 vendors for that one, which is a huge number. Yeah. So now we're up to 36, so that's great. So there's a lot of things with that. You already heard about the community association. As the weather might get warmer, we're looking for people to adopt a road. So if you or your organization would like to adopt any part of a road in Reynoldsburg, please let us know. We'll provide the buckets, the vests, garbage bags, trash pickers, all of that stuff. And if you do it 5 times over the course of the summer, basically, we'll make sure you get a sign out there that you or your organization are recognized for helping keep Reynoldsburg beautiful. Any questions?
Nope.
Got one question here, which I know is going to be a fun one because this is going to be something that Jennifer will have to answer. A few years ago, maybe 5 or so, there was a Christmas parade down Main Street. Why was it only 1 year? Any plans to bring it back? That's a really good question, and it's something that is talked about often. And I'll kind of let Jennifer share her thoughts on that one.
Well, we obviously had the construction on Main Street, and so we wanted to wait until that was completed. And now it's just logistically bringing it back. Now that all of that's done, looking at the area and just planning it. We had thought about doing this year, but we want to have a full year to be able to get those vendors, get the word out to different community organizations to partner with, and so maybe we'll see it next year.
Yeah,
in
might be an option.
2026.
So, but it's a good thing. So now next week we have our official kickoff to National Women's History Month, where we are going to be bringing in my old friend from the Reynoldsburg Education Foundation, Debbie Dunlap. Debbie Dunlap holds the record for the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth longest Joe shows, Mayor Joe shows. So get comfortable, bring some popcorn. We'll try and do an intermission. No, I'm kidding. Actually, this time I know she's on a time schedule for this one, but she will be here to talk about the Education Foundation and what their plans are. We already know that they're going to be doing the Purse Bingo. Are they going to be doing something with the Education Foundation Gala? We know that the schools are in a position right now where there's going to be less resources for everybody. So it's organizations like this, like the Lions Club, like the Community Association, that can work together to kind of fill in some of those gaps for our students and staff that are out there doing everything they can to make our kids successful. So hopefully you can join us next week for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. I always give a last second shout out. Any questions? Nope. All right. So again, good luck to everybody in the Raider athletic world that's playing. Everybody else, stay safe, stay respectful, and as always, please put your shopping carts away. I was actually driving down on Main Street, and there was a shopping cart in the middle of Main Street, and I may have said something about, see, now this is why you have to put your shopping cart away. It actually got into the actual part of Main Street. So everybody else have a good time. We'll see you later.